The old notebook found at a bus stop. A stranger's forgotten notebook reveals life lessons that change someone's destiny. Life leaves signs along our path, but not everyone notices them. The rare few who do are never the same again. Tonight, I will tell you the story of Daniel Carter, a man who discovered a simple, forgotten notebook, and through its pages, rediscovered himself, his strength, his purpose, and the fire he never knew still burned inside him. This is not just a story, it is a reminder, a mirror, a call to the heart. Sit with this story, let it speak to you, because sometimes the thing that saves your life has no voice, just ink on old paper. The evening air was heavy with stillness. Streetlights hummed like distant memories, casting long shadows across the cracked pavement. It was late, not the kind of late marked by numbers, but the kind that muscles and bones can feel. Daniel sat alone at the bus stop, shoulders curved forward, eyes to the ground, breathing slow as if every inhale carried weight. This day had broken him more than most. He had worked for years, tried, failed, tried again. Dreams once bright now flickered like dying embers. But one thing about life is this: it often breaks us right before it builds us. Daniel didn't know that yet. He only knew the quiet ache in his chest, the feeling of standing at the edge of something he couldn't name. The bench beneath him was cold. The world moved around him in pieces. Footsteps of strangers rushing home, buses roaring past, wind carrying fragments of conversations he would never hear again. And then he saw it. A notebook. Old brown leather, soft at the spine, corners worn like something passed through many hands in many years. Sitting beside him as though waiting, patiently, silently. No one else noticed it. No one else looked twice. But Daniel did. Fate always chooses one person. He picked it up gently, like something fragile, not knowing that holding this notebook was like holding a doorway. On the cover was only one sentence. For the one who needs it. He stared at those words, felt them travel through him like a quiet truth. He needed something. He didn't know what, but he was certain the notebook knew. He opened to the first page, and the handwriting was soft, curved, thoughtful. It felt alive. Strength is not built in sunlight, but in the nights we thought we would never survive. Daniel read the line again, slow, breath uneven, like something inside him shifted. The next sentence: you are allowed to be tired, but never allowed to give up. His eyes stung, but he kept reading. The ink on these pages felt like someone was speaking directly into the ache of his soul. Another page. One day, you will understand why the wind pushed you instead of carried you. He closed the notebook to his chest. The world around him softened. There were no answers yet, but there was a possibility. Sometimes possibility is enough to pull a man back from the edge. In the days that followed, Daniel carried the notebook everywhere, like a compass, like a friend. He read it at breakfast, on the bus, before sleeping. Each page revealed something new, not just sentences, but wisdom carved from someone's pain and healing. One page said, "Life will not fix itself for you, but it will meet you halfway if you move." Another, "The person you become depends on the moments you refuse to break." Slowly, without a loud announcement, Daniel changed. He woke up earlier. He walked longer. He sat by the river sometimes just to think. He began to ask himself questions he once avoided. Who do I want to become? What is still possible for me? What am I still afraid of? He felt something unfamiliar rising in him. Hope, not loud, not dramatic, but gentle, like a sunrise beneath the horizon. One night while reading, Daniel noticed something he had overlooked. Between two pages, a photograph. A woman, older, maybe late 60s. Warm eyes, soft smile, hair silver like moonlight. Behind her was a field of tall grass and sky too wide to capture. On the back of the photo, a quote: "To live is to keep learning. To heal is to keep giving." Daniel wondered, who was she? Was this her notebook? Was she the one whose wisdom now shaped his days? He turned the page, and found an entry that felt like a confession. "If someone finds this, know that I once stood where you stand, uncertain, hurting, afraid. Life did not hand me light. I had to create it. Daniel felt a connection, strange yet strong, like he was walking a path another had already paved with their footsteps and tears. He kept reading. The wound is not the end. It is the entrance to a deeper self. Daniel began journaling his own fears beside her words, like conversation across time. A tree grows in silence. So too does the soul. Daniel learned patience, something he had never practiced. He stopped comparing himself to others. He began valuing growth over speed. If you only move when the road is smooth, you will never learn to climb. This one struck him deeply. He realized how many dreams he abandoned simply because they seemed difficult. He promised himself something that night. I will not run from steep paths anymore. Daniel revisited passions he'd buried, sketching, writing, long walks at dawn. He reached out to old friends. He smiled more. He spoke softer but lived louder. One quote carried him through every moment of doubt. Begin again as many times as you must. Greatness is built from restarts. He applied for opportunities, not with desperation, but with confidence. Not because life was easier, because he was stronger. Curiosity grew into calling. Who wrote these pages? Was she alive? Did she leave the notebook intentionally? Was Daniel meant to find her? He decided he needed to try. He visited old libraries, senior homes, community centers, asking gently, showing the photograph. He was turned away more times than he could count, but he remembered the notebook's words. If the journey is hard, it means the destination matters. And so he continued. Days turned to weeks, weeks into months. Still, he searched, not out of obligation, but gratitude. One afternoon, Daniel visited a small local bookstore, shelves filled with the smell of old paper and time. He showed the owner the photograph. The man stared for a long moment, then smiled. He knew her. She was a writer, not famous but profound. She held free community gatherings, sharing stories, wisdom, comfort to anyone who needed it. She passed away years ago, but she left a legacy, more notebooks, more letters, more words for strangers. Daniel stood still, heart full, eyes warm. He had been touched by a life that kept giving even after it ended. The last pages were the most powerful, written like direct instruction to whoever would one day read them. When you finish this notebook, do not keep it. Pass it on, because wisdom unused is wisdom lost. Another page. You were chosen to continue what I could not finish. Daniel closed the book, slowly, reverently. This notebook did not belong to him. It belonged to the world. He returned to the bus stop where his story began, not broken this time, but whole. Not lost, but found. He took a deep breath and wrote in the final blank pages. But this time, the words were his. Here is the extended part you requested. Powerful, long, motivational writing from Daniel himself. To the one who finds this after me, Kiari, I know you may be tired. I know you may be carrying battles no one sees. But listen to me. You are not done yet. Life will not always be kind. It will bend you, test you, shake you to your core. But please, stay. Stay long enough to see what becomes of the pain. Stay long enough to learn what your struggle is shaping you into. You have hidden strength. You have silent courage. You have chapters still unwritten. Do not walk away from your own story. Stand up, even trembling. Speak, even softly. Try, even unsure. Because the world needs the person you are becoming. He wiped a tear, not of sadness, but gratitude. He placed the notebook back on the bench. For the next soul who needed it, narration, slow, warm, resonant. You have heard Daniel's story, but this story is also yours, if you choose to claim it. So I ask you, what notebook has life placed in your hands? What wisdom have you been given that you now must pass on? What chapter will you write next? Listen to this. You were not born to fade. You were born to ignite. Your struggles are not signs of weakness. They are signs of growth. Your delays are not denials. They are prepared. You are not behind. You are becoming. So begin. Rise. Move with courage. And one day, when your words carry power, when your story holds light, Leave something behind for the next soul. Because greatness is not just achieved, it is shared.